It's been a fantastic start to the season for Crusaders on and off the field. 2 wins already and 2 bumper crowds at the Racecourse ground in Wrexham. And things got even better on Friday at the Racecourse when one of rugby's worst kept secret was finally made official. Gareth Thomas is now a Crusader. So what's the motivation behind this giant of Welsh Rugby Union making the move to Rugby League?
I think, you know, every player wants to challenge themselves, otherwise they wouldn't be rugby players or sportsmen even. And this is a huge challenge, probably one of the biggest challenges of my career. And I want to be able to look back at my career and say that I tried everything. I don't want to back away from a challenge. So yeah, it's going to be a massive challenge for me, but one I'm not scared about, one I'm excited about.
Not everyone who's played both chords has been successful. How difficult do you think will it be adapt to what is a different game?
Yeah, you know, it's a hugely different game. I've got to lose all the instincts I had as a rugby union player and try and, you know, create new instincts as a rugby league player. So, you know, it is going to be hugely difficult, but I want to be judged on what I do on the field, whether it be successful or not successful. You know, people are already saying about whether it'll be successful or not already before I've even put my boots on. So, you know, that's what I want to do now, is desperately just get my boots on, get out there on the field and hopefully prove critics wrong.
The cynical rugby fans from both codes of the game may well suggest this is a move made for financial reasons rather than the impact Thomas can field. His new coach Brian Noble certainly doesn't hold that view.
Because I think he'll be a fabulous rugby league player. If you look at the size of him and his athletic prowess and what he's done in the game of rugby union, let's not forget we've watched rugby union for quite a number of years of what he can and can't do, and the type of bloke that he is, you know, what he'll bring to a team, I think it's nothing but great news for us.
You've had a good start this season. How much of a coup is it to bring someone of Gareth Thomas' stature in rugby union terms to the club?
I think it shows that there's plenty of space for both codes in Wales. We want to build a fabulous franchise here in Wales and make sure that a lot of Welsh people, I think some people are more akin to playing rugby league than they are rugby union. That's not a critical thing to say, that's just the nature of the beast. I think there are some fabulous opportunities and we need to show that career path, and we brought Gareth in first and foremost to be that iconic person that he is in Wales, but he's got to be able to play rugby league, and he will. He's really excited by the challenge, and I think he'll invigorate the rest of the town. Is
there a worry that it's a bit too late in the day for Gareth? He turns 36 this year. Is that a concern?
Not for me. Have a look at him. He's a fit bloke. You know, he's looked after himself over the years. He's very athletic, and it was probably the least of my concerns when I spoke to Gareth, were the years on his clock, if you like. My only concern was that he wanted to do this because it's too tough if you don't want to do it.
You've spoken about the differences between the two codes. In that sense, where do you think he'll slot in terms of position? He's played both wing, centre and also fullback in the union game, so where do you think he'll play?
Primarily you can see that, wing, centre, fullback. I'm not going to distract from that. I think he was pretty good at the other game at that, so there's no reason to suggest that he wouldn't be at our game. I think his size and shape, he's certainly a bloke that will want to carry the ball a lot, so we've got to put him in a position where we'll get the ball to him.
After last season, some people would have run a mile at the chance of joining the Crusaders. Where do you think this team can go? What can they achieve?
Well, yeah, you know, I went to watch them last year a few times in Bridgend, and, you know, they weren't unsuccessful, but they weren't as successful as a lot of people would have hoped they'd be. Now I think the season has started, they've got new coaches, I think, and they've got a good crowd coming, and they've got a good group of players. They've already done, you know, well at the start of the season. So this team can actually go places, and I think the more successful it will be, the more they'll get the crowds in, and the more the atmosphere and the place will all rise. And, you know, when you get a good crowd in and a good atmosphere in a place, then, you know, that can excel players to all different types of levels.
Well, we'll hear from Iestyn on his role in a moment, but first we've got a man on the phone that knows all about switching codes, Jonathan Davies. Hello, Jonathan, how are you?
Morning, gents.
How big news is this in Wales?
It was no secret, but it's, you know, I know he's out of his contract with the Blues, so it was an opportunity. There was mention of him going to France or going to the Crusaders. So it wasn't a big shock because everyone kind of knew about it, but you know, good luck to the Crusaders and to Gareth, because, you know, he is a fit guy. He's always been fit. You know, he's been a bit of a boy and a, you know, a laugh and a joke. But one thing he's always been strong is his levels of fitness. He's been a tremendous athlete throughout his career. So I don't think the fitness or the physicality of it will be a problem to Gareth. Just adjusting to the pace of the game might be a problem for him at the start.
So he's not too old?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. And I was 27. I went only a pup compared to Gareth. But it all depends how lucky he is with injuries. That's the key, because if he gets an injury-free run, he'll adjust very quickly. You know, he knows Iestyn extremely well, and I think that would have been a major factor in going there. They've got better players this year and better coaches. They'll be better supported up in Wrexham because, you know, there's not the quality of rugby up there, so people want to go and watch sport in Wales, you know, if it's of a high quality. And he's not scared of a challenge. You know, he's been to France to play. He's toured, you know, with Wales and the Lions. He also had, you know, his private life's been exposed in the media, so, you know, he's made him a tougher character, and I think a happier character that's out. And if he comes through, you know, he could play. He's very strong under the high ball. He's an amazing try scorer. He could play full back, wing, or you know, or centre. And if things, you know, like I said, things go well, you know, he could be a real asset for the Crusaders.
Okay, Jonathan Iestyn, what do you think about this? Obviously, you'll be very excited about it, but he'll get a lot of love when he's welcome, won't he?
Yeah, I think Gareth's going to be an outstanding player for the Crusaders, and the reasons that are because he's a very instinctive player. He plays the game off the cuff, and he's a natural rugby player. What we have to try and do now is to keep that natural side of him, but just try and learn him the game of rugby league. We don't want to have to tell him how to play the game of rugby league and play it somebody else's way. We want Gareth to play it his own way and have his own natural ability on the rugby league field, and that's what we've got to try and do for him.
The point is, of course, he hasn't got long to learn how to play it, has he?
No, he hasn't, but he plays in position. You know, he specialises in positions that are great for him because he's on the edge. I don't think it should be that physically taxing for him because, you know, the nature of where he plays out on the edge. It's defence that takes a lot out of you, especially in rugby league. But one of the things I think is fantastic is it's a great opportunity for the Crusaders to build the profile of the club. You know, they've just signed one of the highest profiled rugby players in the world, either code. And I think that's great for building that type of awareness.
His debut on the 19th, all being well?
Well, we'll have to see. We're going to have a look at him this week to see how he is physically. I know Jonathan just spoke about what great shape he is, and we all know that. But we have to adapt that now to rugby league fitness. It's a little bit differently from rugby union fitness. And if we can do that and he's good to go, then, you know, why not?
OK, and Jonathan, thank you very much indeed for joining us today.
Cheers, right.